Noodle saucies. Let's talk about it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to AROMATIX. Today we're going to be talking about two newer fragrances to my collection, and they're from Rasasi. These kind of flew under the radar. A couple of months ago, I talked about Brilliant Bronze and how I really enjoyed this one. And I saw the rest at tripletraders.com, and I picked up quite a few of them. So far today, the two that I visited more recently, I really want to talk about because of the way that one of them specifically moved me. Both of these are excellent fragrances, and you really get your value for money when you're dealing with Rasasi fragrances. They've been around for a long time. They're not really spoken of much. They might have taken a little bit of a break in terms of like releases, etc., at least to my knowledge or from what I've noticed in the market today. These, however, have been the ones that have been filling in the gap aside from Hawas Ice. And these are really good fragrances, actually. And not only are the fragrances pretty good, but the quality of some of these bottles are pretty good. This one in specific is a good quality bottle. It feels like this ceramic. It has this pretty heavy dog tag looking thing. I mean, I'm not really crazy about that. Let's see if we can remove that. Can we? The jingling is really bothering me. Okay, you can get rid of that for sure. On the side, you see that Brilliant, and on the front, it's this matte black, says Brilliant Bronze Rasasi. The cap itself is a lightweight plastic. It's not too bad. It snaps on a place, but I would not recommend doing that. So scent profile for something like this is tobacco, earthy, and a base sweetness. This actually reminds me of a couple of expensive smelling fragrances, and that's exactly the case with this one here. On the initial blast, I get some kind of bergamot, just a generic fresh opening as many fragrances do, but quickly after that, and very evident right off the top, is gonna be this distinctive tobacco note. It's tobacco and patchouli and just earthy. It smells really good. It's very sophisticated, high-end. You smell like you have money with this, and that's the case with this fragrance in itself. It smells much more expensive than the price tag. So like I was saying, this one smells like tobacco, patchouli, earthy with a little bit of citrus, a base sweetness, but also you're gonna get this evident dose of cardamom. So the cardamom has like this woody undertone with spices at the top. It makes this one lean a little bit more oriental, and really reminds me of a couple of fragrances, but it's not gonna be a distinctive clone of anything, and that's actually what I've been enjoying with a lot of Rasasi fragrances, especially this lineup. So one of them does remind me of something, and a couple of them obviously can remind you of something, and I don't want to use that it reminds me of as like this is a clone of, because I genuinely don't think it's a clone of anything. I think that it treads in a family of fragrances, and you guys know I have no problem saying that, yeah, this is a clone of this, and if it was, I would do exactly that. But no, this smells like a hybrid potentially, or just in the family of fragrances like Chapard's Oud Meleki. If you don't have Chapard's Oud Meleki, it basically smells like this ambers, tobacco, and cardamom based fragrance. Pretty Middle Eastern, except this one has a little bit more of an edge as well. And I pulled out another fragrance, and I'm going to confirm or deny it right now whether or not it has a little bit of aspects of this more expensive fragrance as well. So yeah, absolutely. So it smells like Oud Meleki with a little bit of Parfums de Marly Carlisle. That's the category of fragrances that this one treads in. And it's a damn shame that nobody really talks about this one, but it's understandable because only Triple Traders and a few other stores have this fragrance. It goes for around 40 bucks, which isn't too bad after the coupon. It's decent. The only reason I'm talking about the price is because this one smells like it's at least double. But this is more than just Oud Meleki. Like I said, it has some of those earthy nuances and the base sweetness of something like Parfums de Marly Carlisle. Now don't go pick this up, think that, oh, Neeb said that it's a clone of Parfums de Marly Carlisle. It's not a distinctive clone of it or anything like that, but I'm just giving you an idea of what family or category of fragrances this one treads in. So there you go. This smells like Oud Meleki mixed with a little bit of aspects from Parfums de Marly Carlisle. A really good fragrance. If you enjoy that family of fragrances, you're gonna really enjoy this one as well. So this was Brilliant Bronze by Rasasi. Performance-wise, out of this one, I got a solid 8 hours. On clothing specifically. On skin, it's like 7. It's damn near the same thing. So a good fragrance all in all. The other day, I actually rocked this one though, and if you guys know some of my tastes, I really enjoy this Fantasy Iris note. It smells like orris root, it's buttery, it has this cosmetic feel, kind of smells like crayons, Play-Doh, or lipstick. That's essentially what it smells like, really. This has that in here, and that's why I fell absolutely in love with this, but it's much more than just that. This opens up with some freshness and some of that orris, so it's thick, it's rooty, it's fatty, it's got that lipstick, buttery iris. And then as this one starts to dry down, it gets a little bit ambrier, it gets much more woody, and to my nose, I sense something of leather. I don't know if it necessarily has the note of leather in the fragrance per se, but it does have like this thick creaminess, and it could be a combination of the orris and the sandalwood essentially that are creating this accord of leather. So you might not pick up this leather accord, but regardless, it works and it smells really good. This actually smells pretty natural to my nose. Considering the price point, that's actually pretty good. Pretty good in my opinion. And it reminds me very distinctively of this fragrance that I paid around $120, $130, and I think I might still have it in my collection. Yes, I do. And it's called T12 from Lattafa Limarat. I paid about $130 for this one. And this reminds me of something like that. So you're talking $40 versus $130, except there are a couple of differences. I'm just saying that this reminds me of. T12 goes more in like this naturalistic, fresher take, whereas this one dries down into more of like this sandalwood, creamy orris and iris. It's really rooty and thick, and like I said, I get that accord of leather. Whereas this one remains to that freshness, or holds on to the freshness essentially the entire time. This actually outperforms this one, and it could be essentially because of the scent profile. You know, when you have fresher fragrances, they're not going to last as long. They don't have much of a dense dry down to really ride off of. Total longevity, I got about 8 to 10 hours out of this fragrance. As soon as it hit about the 8-hour mark, it was relatively closer, but I could still get wafts of it, especially off of my hoodie. On skin, I got 6 hours. It wasn't more than like 6 hours on skin, but still, for a scent profile that started relatively bright with the citrus and orris, it did dry down into something a bit more interesting, more accords, etc. And at this price point, I really wasn't expecting it. And with a name of Deep Blue, I was expecting something really just fresh and blue. It surprised me when it dried down into something warm, woody, and creamy. So Deep Blue, this one is my favorite, really is my favorite, but it's not going to be for everybody. It's specific. It's specific because I enjoy that orris quality to this fragrance. So it treads in niche DNA. It treads in niche DNA. This one right here, Deep Blue. Whereas this one, if you like earthy tobacco and all those, you're really going to enjoy. This one's more specific, and for that reason, I would classify this or call this niche DNA. I really would, and it really does compete with a niche fragrance's DNA. But comparatively, the occasions I would rock this one might be a little bit different than this, just because it has a bit more of a freshness. But in most occasions, I'd probably go for this instead. So that has some value too. Bang for buck, this is excellent. Scent profile for me personally, it's a love. I don't want to put a rating on it because it is pretty distinct or pretty unique. But if you're into anything I described, you're going to love this one. If you like that lipstick iris, DHI, Dior Homme intense vibe, you're probably going to like this one as well. It is richer, denser, and creamier, but it has that orris iris vibe. And if you're into fragrances like Oud Melaki, you're going to like this one as well. So there you go, 2 new fragrances from Rasasi. They're excellent fragrances. I like both of these. They both smell good quality fragrances, a niche DNA right here, and a solid performing earthy fragrance. Let me know down in the comments if any of you have these fragrances or have seen these fragrances. Make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and until the next video, peace.